Hey there everyone, 8is80 here once again with another game of StarCraft 2. This game will be featuring the one, the only, oGsMC. He will be the blue Protoss spawning here at the 8 o'clock on Metalopolis. He is a Korean player whose real name is Jang-Min Chul, and he is widely regarded as one of the best Protoss players in the entire world, with 2 GSL titles to his name, along with a 3rd place finish in the recent MLG Columbus. And that is just a short list of his accomplishments. He is one of the best players in the entire world. He is also infamous for being very cocky, but hey, the way I see it, when you have the skill that MC has and you are able to back up your words, go ahead and have some fun with it, because that's what StarCraft is all about, having fun with it. His opponent for this game will be the red Protoss spawning here at the 1 o'clock. His name is xiaOt. xiaOt is actually Chinese for little t. Xiao actually means little in Chinese. Did a little research right there. And his real name is Sunli Y, who is a very successful Orc player in Warcraft 3. Both these players made the transition from Brood War to StarCraft 2, so they are very old school StarCraft players, very familiar with the community and the game as a whole. Sunli Wei is also a very successful StarCraft 2 player. He was ranked #1 at one point in the past, so he is no slouch himself. We'll see these two gods of the StarCraft community duel it out in a PvP here on Metalopolis. We do see xiaOt's scout going the correct direction, while MC's scout is unfortunately going the wrong direction. They are indeed spawning in these close positions by land, where all you have to do to get to your opponent's base is go down this ramp, up this road, and boom, you are at your opponent's main. Some versions of this map actually don't allow for these spawn locations, but of course this version does, as these players have indeed spawned in these locations, as this one probe is deciding just to be a butthead and disturb this other probe and distract it from mining for as long as possible. As we have MC opening up with his first gateway just now warping in, they're doing the exact same thing as we can see here in the production tab. Oh, also, this game, I did a little research, is Game 2 of the semifinals of the Starswar Killer Tournament #6, so there's a lot on the line here. I'm not sure who won the first game because I have not seen that, and I have not seen this either. So we'll just have to watch this for basically a Protoss versus Protoss, knowing that it is indeed in a best-of-5 series. This is Game 2, so these players do have something more than just, say, a ladder game on the line here, so they will be pulling out all the stops to try to best their opponents. And right now we see more or less the exact same thing, as both the Cybercores are just now finishing warping in. MC's was a couple of seconds before his opponents, so that might pay off in the long run, but right now it's only about 2 or 3 real-life seconds, so it's not a huge deal, as MC has gotten his scout up here after having gone the wrong direction initially, and seeing that not anything crazy is happening in xiaOt's base. The first divergence, never mind. I was about to say the first divergence in build was that xiaOt was getting the second gas, but as soon as I started to say that, MC decided to make me look foolish and put up a second gas of his own, and right now both players are getting their first Stalker out, and they already have their first Zealots out, so exactly mirroring builds at the moment, but xiaOt has taken the liberty of stealing 5 minerals from his opponent's mineral patch, so that is the one difference right now. MC's mineral patches have 1 less set of minerals, as that was stolen by xiaOt's little butthead scout probe. We'll see if that makes a difference in the long run. xiaOt is putting up a proxy pylon up here in the middle between the two players' bases, so that's the first difference here, as MC did lose his scout to xiaOt's. Scout to xiaOt's Stalker and Zealot. That was some fun rhyming right there. So we have 2 more gateways going up for MC, and looking at xiaOt's base, he has, it looks like 3 more gateways. So we have a 3 gate on the way for MC, but a 4 gate on the way for xiaOt. So we'll see how this plays out in this Protoss versus Protoss. Of course, mirror matches here at the highest level of play are often about who opens up with the more advantageous beginning, and of course who can adapt better in the late game. But sometimes you'll see just the smallest of differences in the early game, providing one player with all the advantage he needs, as in these high level games, players are able to take an advantage and then hold that advantage and ride it to victory. We'll see which player's build order turns out to be superior here, as MC has gotten his 3 gates online, while xiaOt's 4 gate has just now started working as well. Both these players having pretty sizable armies here in the early game. We have, looking at xiaOt's army, 4 Stalkers, 2 Zealots, and 1 Sentry. And looking at MC's army, we have, well, they're really clumped up. We have 4 Stalkers, 2 Sentries, and a Zealot. So basically the same composition at the moment. But of course, since xiaOt does have 1 more Warp Gate online, his army will become more and more larger. That was probably grammatically terrible, but I'm going to stick with it. His army will be more and more larger as MC has gotten his Robo facility warping in, which is something xiaOt has instead opted to go with the Twilight Council here in the back of his base. So now we are finally seeing these Protoss players diverging in their build orders pretty significantly, as we have MC going for that Immortal play, who's very good against Stalkers. So we'll see if that pays off for him. Meanwhile, xiaOt's Twilight Council is going to be finished pretty soon, in a matter of seconds it seems like, about 5 or 6 seconds I would say, as these Stalkers are moving across the map just to scout out what exactly MC has. They will be met with a welcoming party should they decide to try to bust up this ramp. He has verification now that MC has not taken an expansion, so both these players are still on one single base right now, as we now have Blink being researched for xiaOt, and MC is just now getting his Observer about to be done. So these players, one player going 3-gate Robo and the other player going 4-gate. So very, very interesting Protoss metagame right now happening, as we'll see which player is able to ride their build to victory, as we have proxy pylons going up for xiaOt deciding to put it even more in MC's face. That's almost in vision of a Nexus that might be there. So MC is going to have some defending to do soon, as his Observer has now gotten verification that xiaOt has ideas of attacking, seeing that that probe is setting up a proxy pylon, and also seeing this massive army will alert MC to the fact that he is indeed being 4-gated as we speak, as Blink is just now finishing, and that might be the timing window that xiaOt has been waiting for, as he is indeed going to be charging up this ramp. MC is ready to defend with that one probe not doing punch in the wave defense, but force fields, oh, not going to do anything, as Blink Stalkers deciding force fields are not going to affect them at all, blinking right from the low ground to the high ground, and now MC is in some trouble. Getting Guardian Shield up on his units nicely though, as one downfall to xiaOt's little Blink trick was that his Guardian Shield could no longer protect his Stalkers once they were up in the base, but now he's going to blink them back out, as now his army has been reduced to only those Stalkers with Blink, and this Immortal is so happy right now, because this is exactly what he's literally made to do, just fight off Stalkers. And MC is defending pretty well right now. Look at the units lost tab real fast. We do see it's about even, and these players, of course, being very high-level Korean and Chinese players respectively, have incredibly high APM. We see MC sitting right around 300 actions per minute. That is, if you can do the math, 5 actions per second, so his fingers are really getting a workout right now, as we're going to be getting back into the engagement right now. Watching xiaOt try to break up this ramp, but he is unable to do so, taking out one Zealot in the process, trying to avoid getting force fielded and getting his army cut in half, making excellent use of Blink right there, taking his weak units out from the back, so not still able to do too much damage, but now we're still even in the resources lost tab. So both these players kind of just in a very tense stalemate right now. We see MC going to be putting up that Robo Bay, so he will have access to, Robo facility rather, so he will have access to an additional unit. We'll see. He also has a Twilight Council coming up. Oh my goodness, both these players. Well, I said MC. I meant xiaOt is putting up his Robo facility. I'm totally confused right now watching these Protoss players. They are now going to be getting the building that the other one got previously. MC choosing to get that Twilight while xiaOt is getting that Robo. So these players' builds are converging once again, as MC's Observer is just chilling over here, watching to see when xiaOt will decide to move out. More rhyming fun right there. xiaOt moving out. Watching this very tense engagement, as there's not much else happening in this map. We have a great concave for MC all around the edge of his base, while xiaOt just has a clump of Stalkers waiting at the base, waiting for orders to charge up there, with one sentry accompanying his friends, these Stalkers, going to probably be throwing up a Guardian Shield to protect them from this ridiculously good concave. Well played by MC right there, with some Zealots in the back. Of course, Zealots don't enjoy being in the back of an army, but I mean, you can't really put them in the front, because then they would just get attacked by these Stalkers from distance. So very, very tense standoff, as we are now getting Blink on the way for MC, while Charge is being researched by xiaOt. We'll see if MC is able to hold this long enough for his tech to surpass that of his red Protoss opponent, as both these players are still trapped on one base, and they are about even in supply right here, 82 to 79. Looking at the APM tab once again, they are still both above 200. It looks like xiaOt is going to be taking a couple more units down, and now they're going to be engaging because that observer spotted the other observer, and of course that's always an awkward situation when observers find one another. And MC's was taken out in that exchange. Now MC is the one who's going to be going on the offensive as his army is superior. Blink has finished, so he will be able to chase these Stalkers down if they try to flee with Blink. And more Stalkers trying to come in to help for xiaOt forces MC to kind of divert his forces a little bit to the side as we have another proxy pylon being put up, this time by MC. And now the attack is happening in xiaOt's main entrance. Force fields going up, not even sure whose those are, but they are one of the, I'm going to guess xiaOt's because they look like defensive force fields, but I mean, there's really no way to know. And now we have this engagement happening, just Stalkers going off on one another, Zealots trying to do the best they can, Immortals for MC trying to do their job and pummel Stalkers from a distance, but they are getting focus fired by Zealots and Stalkers alike. Now Sentries coming in to join the fun as well, Observers just chilling overhead, not doing very much because there's nothing for them to spot. Then we have basically just Protoss against Protoss. It's a war of attrition. Stalkers against Stalkers. Just so many Stalkers for each player. Let's look at just how many. It's 14 for MC and only 9 for xiaOt. So xiaOt will have to get a couple of more. There's also an Immortal in MC's composition. So he does have a pretty firm advantage right now here in this game. Looking at the resource loss tab, xiaOt has fallen behind just a little bit. We're going to have to see if MC is able to press that advantage and take this game out in the near future, because he does have the upper hand right now. Keep the APM tab once again, still incredibly high APM. Of course, that's not going to change at all in this game. Looking back again at the production tab, we have a couple of Stalkers being made by xiaOt, as both these players are just trying to not die, more or less, because if you stop making units when your opponent is continuing to do so, you will get overrun. And we have another Observer against Observer exchange that's once again so awkward for those Observers when they see one another and their armies are forced to kill the other. Because of course observers do feel a certain kinship. They don't like it when they are forced to observe fellow detect fellow cloaked observers. A lot of words being tried to say by me and not working so well, as we now have this observer coming down here to see if anything crazy is happening, but nothing too crazy is happening, as MC has just kind of chilled his army right here in the middle, right on the road between the two players' bases. Once again, these players are both stuck on one base. Their mineral patches are getting a little bit pretty close to done. So there might be a very, very large battle here in the near future, with both players investing all of their resources into the armies to try to come out ahead, as both players basically will have no more resources as soon as these main bases get mined out. Kind of going back and forth between these armies, trying to get a feel of which one is superior. It looks more or less even right now. We can of course always look up here to see the exact numbers of which units each player has. We do have xiaOt warping in a couple of more units. Nothing in the way of upgrades for either player, I believe. Nothing for xiaOt and nothing for MC. So these armies are evenly matched in terms of upgrades. xiaOt does not have any Immortals, while MC right now does have one single Immortal. Let's look at that production tab just to make sure nothing crazy is happening. Another Immortal coming out for MC, so we will have a 2 Immortal advantage in this attack, which is going to commence sooner or later, as these players will be starved of resources within the very near future. It does look like xiaOt is having thoughts of expanding, and the Zealots charging and then making up their minds to not quite go that far out of the range of their friendly units, because these Zealots would only be charging to their death if they decided to engage this army by themselves. And now we have the massive engagement happening in the middle. It's going to throw up the APM tab. Force fields going out, trying to prevent the majority of MC's armies from participating in this battle. And it does look like xiaOt has the superior position right now, getting a very nice concave on these units right over here, as these Stalkers trapped in the back are not able to help out their brethren. Looking at the units last time, just watch as these players continue to lose resources, because of course these armies are evenly matched, and it does look like MC was able to gain the upper hand with just a bunch of Stalkers overrunning his opponent xiaOt, and it looks like MC might be able to take this game right now if he's able to destroy all of those units, and indeed he is able to do so. Destroying everything, still attacking, even though xiaOt has left the game. So it does look like MC was able to take this PvP, a very entertaining game, as we watched a 4-gate go up against a 3-gate robo. And MC was able to show us just why he's considered one of the best Protoss players in the world, and I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will see you guys next time.